आज हमारे साथ रैंक 103 है राजीव अग्रवाल. We are very very happy to have him with us here. Congratulations सबसे
पहले. Thank you ma'am, thank you very much.
पहले तो I would want to ask you कि result आते ही what was your first reaction?
Ma'am, I was very happy. I did not expect कि I was expecting IPS because I missed it by 2 marks only last year, 2-3 marks. So I was hopeful that I'll be getting IPS, but close to this rank, I was very happy, elated with this.
अच्छा, this was your 5th attempt if I'm
Yes,
not
ma'am.
wrong, है ना? तो it has been a long journey for you. इसको sustain करने के लिए what were the things that helped you?
Ma'am, my journey has been a bit different from regular aspirants. All of my 5 attempts have been with the job. So I was having some kind of financial security, and in the case of my 3 failures in my first 3 attempts, I had sense of some kind of security, and the public interaction in the job helped me with like coping up with the failures in the time and manage my emotions. So this kind of I will not say it was my plan B, because that was my plan A, which I was like working already in the bank and after that, but it helped me a lot in emotional, financial and other kind of securities. So anxiety did not come at any point of time. The failures in the first 3 attempts demotivated me, but this did not translate it to anxiety or like depression kind of things or like negativity.
It's not as if your life stops. Normal days
Yes,
look
ma'am.
the
Yes,
same.
ma'am.
So it does.
And in every attempt I was able to identify my mistakes, and I did not try to blame it on anybody. It was I was not putting enough efforts in approaching this examination. My strategy was wrong in my first few attempts, and later on I kept on identifying my loopholes and remedy whatever the problems were there with my strategy, with my content, my practice, my test writing. I have in the subsequent attempt I have tried to improve that, ma'am.
Tell us a little bit about your background, educationally, the jobs you've had, all those things, family.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I belong to a Kiraoli town in Agra district of Uttar Pradesh. I born and brought up there. Up to 12th class, I have studied in the town itself. After that, I have completed my graduation and post-graduation from Dayalbagh Educational Institute Computer Science from Agra. It is a deemed university in Agra. And I have completed my MSc and MSc in Computer Science in 2014 and 15. It was a dual degree course. In the same year, I was placed in State Bank of India as a probationary officer. There I worked from 2015 to 19. After that, I resigned from there because it was a very hectic job, and I planned to appear for the civil services examination. After that, I switched my job to a district youth officer in Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan, which is a affiliated body with the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports in Government of India. After that, I gave my second prelims of CSE, and also gave my first mains of UPPCS also, ma'am. And in my first attempt, I cleared UPPCS examination, and I was allocated to Nayab Tehsildar cadre. So I joined that after resigning from NYKS, and after that I've been attempting this examination with my Nayab Tehsildar job. So during that I appeared in 3 mains, ma'am. In first mains I missed my interview call in my 3rd attempt by 1 mark. So after that I worked on my content also. I did not have any kind of content. Over the year I worked on that, and last year in my 4th attempt I got 269th rank, and I was allocated to Indian Revenue Service Income Tax, and now presently I am on EOL from NADT Nagpur. And in this 5th attempt I am very happy that I've secured at least my second choice, that is IPS with 103 rank, ma'am.
Thank goodness. I mean the relief, है ना?
Yes,
कि इतने effort के बाद you have what you want.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Again, congratulations.
Thank
There's
you,
nothing
ma'am.
but
Thank you very much.
happiness in our hearts. अच्छा, तो with all of these things ना, what I think would have changed for you is कि strategy ना बड़ा specifically change होती है.
Yes.
है ना? तो for pre specifically, because last year का paper was also different in both aspects, GS and CSAT. So what I'm asking you is कि prelims के लिए what was your strategy?
Ma'am, I've given 5 attempts in prelims examination consecutively from 2019 to 23. In first 2 attempts, 2019 and 2020, I could not clear prelims examination. The reason were like I was excessively focusing on current affairs, and I did not have enough revision for the static parts. So that was my failure, and I did not take any test those 2 years. I knew that I have to take test, but I could not for some reasons. And in the real examination, I made silly mistakes, and in my first attempt, I missed the prelims cutoff by around 6 marks, and second time it was missed by 0.6 marks around.
Oh.
So after that, ma'am, I changed my strategy. I was in first 2 attempts, I was reading lot of books, standard books, and coaching material. Though I had already restricted my resources, but I was reading the books only. I was not taking tests. After that, I revised my strategy. I did not read any books after that because basic content was already with me. I was not able to train my mind for taking the prelims examination. In that attempt, I took the reverse engineering kind of approach in which I was taking tests only, sectional tests particularly, and after that, attempting the test, I was seeing the solutions, whatever answers they were given, detailed answers, and I was marking them, I was reading them, and the questions which I was not able to, they were like probable that I will be forgetting them in the near time. So I was taking the screenshots of them on my iPad. After that, this strategy worked for me, ma'am, and I also cleared in third attempt my forest service cutoff.
Oh.
Though I was not I did not appear in forest service examination, but I cleared cutoff, and this strategy has worked for me for last 3 years, ma'am. After taking screenshots, I used to go through those screenshots once before exam, and after that I used to make very concise notes for the prelims, only for some facts only. So that strategy, ma'am, has worked for me. And second aspect of it was taking test and finding my optimum number of attempts. I started with 78 total attempts, and I was able to find out that the negative percentage of mine was around 30%. So I was not able to get the clear cutoff, marks above the cutoff. So I increased the attempts. And this is very personal to me and very particular to me. This has worked for me because I was making around 30% negative marking for the answers. There was one more learning for me from this process or whatever I was doing. That whenever I face difficult paper, my negative markings increases more than 30%. So I have to increase my total number of attempts. So whenever I feel that paper is tough then compared to my last year paper, or though I attempt more number of questions, and it will not be to exaggeration, ma'am. I attempted all the 100 questions in last year's paper, and this was a friend of mine who also uses this kind of thing when paper is tough, and I was getting results before applying this in the actual paper. I had to taken all the randomized situations in which 70, 80, 90, every kind of questions I was taking, and difficult. And in case of difficult question, it was working for me. It may not work for everybody, but it was working for me. So, ma'am, for last 3 years, I've been doing this prelims thing like this.
And absolutely, see, this is the sort of thing that you can't do by studying.
Yes, ma'am.
ये तो paper करने से ही you'll be able to learn.
Ma'am, there is also behavioral things in prelims examination. For example, there are questions in which there might be 1 correct, 2 correct, 3 correct, 4 correct, and our mind works in certain way. So sometimes what happens is among the 4 attempts, 4 options, we are certain that these 2 options are correct, and answer can be 1. And we used to think that among 2 questions, remaining 2 options, there might be 1 more question correct. So we make our mind we mark 3 correct questions. So I was able to find that because the question paper was such last year there were a lot of questions in this manner. So I was training that I'm attempting 1 more attempt more than compared to this. For example, UPSC is having 2 correct options, and I was marking 3, even if I know only 2 are certainly correct. So I work on that also, but it was not to that extent. One more thing, ma'am, I would like to emphasize is prelims is not the examination of knowledge as per my experience. It is if you are able to manage your confidence in the examination, if you are able to see the paper and paper is tough, and you are able to hold to your strategy, and you are able to make your make yourself understand that paper is going to be tough. If paper is tough, you should be like confident of your practice at the home. So if paper is coming tough like last year, so you will get to know that cutoff will be going lower than that year. So it helps if you are calm and composed in the examination. It will help in throughout the prelims paper.
ठीक है, तो moving from prelims to mains के लिए what is the strategy?
मैम मेरे पर्टिकुलर केस में मैंने क्योंकि मैं वर्किंग था तो मैंने अपने सोर्स बहुत ज़्यादा लिमिटेड किए थे एंड ये सबको ही करना चाहिए, चाहे वो वर्किंग हो चाहे ना हो. दूसरा मैम, जो मुझे टॉपर से अच्छे नोट्स मिल रहे थे मैंने उनको पूरी तरह यूज किया. उसके साथ में उनके बेसिस पर ही मैंने अपने नोट्स बनाए, क्योंकि मैं पहले पढ़ चुका था प्रीलिम्स के टाइम पे 2-3 बार 4 बार. तो अंडरस्टैंडिंग में इश्यू नहीं था. मेरे को जो नोट्स मिल रहे थे मैंने उनको यूज़ किया. जैसे श्रेयांश कुमार सर के नोट्स हैं, वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री के नोट्स हैं मेंस के लिए, और एंशिएंट हिस्ट्री के लिए, आर्ट एंड कल्चर के लिए, मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री के लिए ऋषिकेश रेड्डी सर के नोट्स हैं 2019 में, वो IPS थे. उसके अलावा सोसाइटी के लिए मैंने महक जैन मैम के नोट्स थे वो यूज किए, और ज्योग्राफी के लिए मैम मेरा ऑप्शनल भी था तो मैंने PYQ से खुद बनाया उसका जो भी था, क्योंकि उसका जो पार्ट आ रहा है वो बहुत ज़्यादा था. अराउंड 40% पेपर ज्योग्राफी से आ रहा था मैम. पेपर 2 और पेपर 3 में मेरे 4th अटैम्प्ट तक मैंने बहुत ज़्यादा वर्क नहीं किया है, लेकिन इस साल मैंने फोरम में करंट अफेयर्स की क्लास ली थी दिपिन सर से, एंड वॉट एवर केस लॉज एंड examples he tried to like tell us in the classes, I tried to incorporate that in my answers. I'm not sure about the marks, but I have tried to incorporate that. GS3 was my weakest point, ma'am. And in GS4 I used Forum's Red Book for basic content building, and after that I used multiple toppers short notes and notes for my own note making. That I did last year. And for optional, ma'am, last year also I scored 280 in this subject, and in GS1 also I got benefited from that. So I am hopeful that this year also geography will be good for me.
Right. See, because people are sort of in that mind space कि geography as an optional is not doing so well. But what I always tell students is statistics don't matter for a single person. है ना, geography is working well for you, but effort मांगता है वो.
Ma'am, definitely geography needs a lot of time compared to other subjects, some subjects, but if we see it as a combo that it is benefiting in paper 1, paper 3, and even if you are going for interview, sometimes they ask from Indian geography, like questions may seem like general but they are from Indian geography. So if we see as a like a combination, that it might be a good subject. However, you have to stick to the best courses and limited resources, and you have to do answer writing practice in a better manner. So I can say that over the time I have realized that issue was not with the geography as a subject for me. I was not putting enough my time and resources in that subject, and when I did that, I have got benefit from that.
Coming from the sort of time constraint that you have, and इस साल ये भी हुआ है कि all of these GPTs and AI and tools and everything was there. इस तरह की कोई चीज़ आपने इस्तेमाल करी टाइम बेटर मैनेज करने?
मैम मैंने प्रीलिम्स और मेंस में नहीं किया यूज, लेकिन इंटरव्यू के लिए मैंने बहुत ज़्यादा यूज किया. I used ChatGPT initially for my answers to find the factual answers and the opinion based answer also, but it was not that effective. Then I moved to the Bard, and Bard was comparatively better than ChatGPT in helping framing the answers. And if we are googling that thing, so we have to go to the certain a lot of links, but that AI provides you a lot of information at one point, and then you can refresh that information or like do more in less time.
बिल्कुल, कि उससे ड्रजरी वाला काम करा दो.
Yes,
है ना?
ma'am.
बिल्कुल, make it a good servant. Any subject that you're more fond of beyond geography?
Ma'am, I like to read about society and social issues, and economics also, though I'm not getting good marks in paper 3, but I like that subjects also very much.
I understand, because भाई इतना पढ़ने के लिए interest has to be
Yes.
cultivated. Coming to the interview portion, as you told me, you were using AI, है ना, and of course other efforts also. But my question is कि the experience for interview, because you've cleared it in like after multiple attempts. So what was your experience for interview that was different this time?
मैम this was my second interview, और जो मेन डिफरेंस ये था मैम, लास्ट ईयर वाला जो मेरा इंटरव्यू था, it was based on more contemporary topics, and also factual questions belonging related to my job profiles. But this year, everything was focused on my dev. My hobbies were consumed half of the time of the interview.
What hobbies do you have?
Not like interesting hobbies, general hobbies like teaching and diary writing, that kind of thing, and quizzing, etc. There was no question from quizzing, but they asked a lot of questions from teaching and diary writing, and they linked diary writing to autobiography reading. Though I did not mention autobiography, and even I denied that I have read any autobiography, they proceeded to asking questions on autobiographies. And other questions were also from my dev, my hometown, the places I have worked like Gujarat. I have worked in State Bank of India. They like Gujarat model. There was only single contemporary question on fiscal that federalism in the India. So I can say interview in UPSC are very dynamic and organic in nature compared to the mock test we give in the institute. However, mock interviews in the institute have a different purpose, which is to prepare the student for covering all the aspects of the deaf and improve the communication. But in the original that interview we do in UPSC, the things can go anyway, and sometimes factual questions can be there. And they will flow in an organic way, ma'am. There will not be like a compartment-wise, like compartmentalization there for question, like somebody is asking from optional, somebody from college degree and etc. They will flow in a very organic manner. So I felt that. And second thing, जो मुझे लगा है मैम, पहला ये है कि being truthful is very helpful for me, has been very helpful for me. For example, last year I could not answer a lot of simple questions, and I did not bluff, not a single question, and I scored more than average marks last year. This year also I expect that I could not answer every question also in a satisfactory manner, but this is kind of personality test. How we are approaching the answer matters more than how we are answering the question and how many answers we are answering in the actual session. And though I was the last candidate in the interview, they were very much interested in me. Yes, ma'am.
So it's to do with how do you approach everything? How do you do things?
Yes, ma'am. And one more thing I did for interview, ma'am. I went through last year's all the transcripts and I selected all the questions which were related to my job profiles, my optional subject, my hometown, state, etc., which were related to my dev to any sense, and I prepared all the answers of those on like small sheets.
Which means it was a lot of hard work.
Yes, ma'am. I gave around 1 month this year, and some notes were prepared from the last year, ma'am. And every question in the interview was from my dev. Every question from my notes, ma'am, almost.
And thankfully well prepared them. Lovely. So, in hindsight, after your entire experience, what would you want to tell to a student who's looking to you कि सर क्या करना चाहिए, सच बता दीजिए.
I have keep some things very straight. आपको सबसे पहले तो अपने रिसोर्सेज बहुत लिमिटेड रखने हैं. दूसरा चीज़ ये है कि आप जो पढ़ रहे हैं उसको ज़्यादा टाइम रिवाइज करना है नए सोर्सेज पढ़ने की वजह. दिस इज़ अ वेरी रिपीटेटिव थिंग, बट आई एम एम्फेसाइजिंग दिस अगेन. And whatever you are reading, you have to test that, and you have to come on your strategy that in what way you will be attempting the paper. For example, in my first attempt, I used to attempt the paper in the serial wise, but that was not working for me. After 2 failures, I changed that pattern to my favorite subject. I started to attempt first, like polity, economy first, then modern history. So that used to build my confidence even in the difficult paper. So that kind of strategy and optimum number of attempts, you will have to like come with your own practice. Nobody can tell you that. And after that limited resources, then test, revise. That is the key, ma'am. And consistency. Consistency, you cannot be here without consistency, and that is the most important thing.
Very well said. Again, I'm very, very happy. A lot of congratulations to you. It's very heartening. I hope you do big, great things.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for your time.